Thank you very much for having me. I feel honored to be speaking in front of a wonderful group of people such as yourselves who've made making the world a better place a priority in your life. I'd like to leave this place a little better than I found it, so it's a great feeling to be with a group of like-minded people. The world needs more of us. As he just stated, my name is Jerika Guillory. I've been in Eunice since 2002. I was born in Oklahoma, raised in Baton Rouge. I've started a community art project to benefit our local schools, and that's what I'm going to discuss today. I've named it the Wishing Doll Project with the help of a friend's daughter. They started calling them wishing dolls, and the name stayed. You may have read the article in the newspaper that Todd Elliott ran just before Christmas, on the front page too. I was really excited. What a wonderful surprise. He wrote a beautiful piece about the project to help raise awareness, and for that I'm extremely grateful. I thought he might be here today, but the inspiration for the project came about because I was inspired by some art I'd seen while traveling in Arizona. The city of Sedona is absolutely full of these amazing bronze statues. The many artists who live out there have made their visions come to life, and they are sprinkled about the town, adding character and celebrating the true wonder of art. I thought that we as Eunicians, as a community, could come together and raise enough money to buy a large bronze statue of maybe an accordion or a violin, crawfish, something to do with our culture, and find the right spot downtown for the installation. We could electrify our little town with art. Then I found out that a 10-inch high, 4-inch wide bronze statue cost about $200. That means that if we wanted a substantial work of bronze, several feet high and several feet wide, like those I'd seen in Sedona, we'd be looking at a pirate's chest full of gold in order to purchase it. Is that really realistic? So I said to myself, we'll start on a smaller scale and have an even bigger impact. Beginning with one local elementary school, we'll find something the children can enjoy while making learning fun. What could that be? I drove over to Barbara's nursery and looked at her concrete fountains and statues and benches. They had adorable little animal benches over there. That's it. I thought we'll create an outdoor reading, art, and music center for the children to enjoy. Story time in the sunshine, paintings created in the fresh air, music to play along with the songs of the birds who are always so generously singing to us. This makes sense. It sounds good. The kids are going to love it. Reality checkpoint. How are we going to fund it? The good news is that the things that were now calling to my heart were not made of bronze, and so therefore the prices were reduced dramatically. While this idea was more affordable, that didn't mean it was going to be free. So my wheels are a-turning and a-burning, and alas, wishing dolls were born. We could make wishing dolls out of air-dry clay, popsicle sticks, fabric, yarn, and beads. Who would make the dolls? Everyone. The young, the old, and everyone in between. Wouldn't it be great to have the kids create these dolls with donated materials and then give them to us to put up for adoption? They would essentially give us the gift of their artwork, and the funds generated from those sales would go towards the outdoor center. They could see firsthand how a project can come full circle. Do this now, reap this later. Similar to a farmer planting his seeds in the earth, the work he does today will benefit both his own family and that of his neighbors. Not overnight, but not years down the road either. I didn't have all the details worked out, but one thing I knew that we would need a place to keep the money that was raised, and so I went to the bank. I explained my idea to the bank lady, and she said I had two options. A, I would need to start a nonprofit and get a tax ID number and yada, 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 yada. I stopped her in her tracks. No. The last thing I want to do is more paperwork to dance with. And just so y'all know, I don't dance. Not with paperwork, anyway. Unless the paper is something I can use to write poetry on, then no. And please keep in mind that the government is shut down at the time we're having this discussion. And I honestly felt then and still feel as though this was something we could accomplish on our own without the government getting involved. And from what I can tell, it seems like their plates are pretty full. Special accounts are created all the time for different reasons. She said that due to rules of confidentiality, that would not be possible. She spoke to a supervisor to back that up, and the word was the same. I said, okay, thank you very much for your time, and I left. I thought, there has to be another way. And guess what? There was. Miss Barbara started an account at the nursery for the Wishing Doll Project and tagged the first 3 items, 2 turtles and a giraffe, and allowed me to make payments on them. She even gave me a special price on the little draft bench to help us get started. Everyone that I spoke to about the project thought it was a great idea, and one of the ladies that heard about it on Facebook invited me to her Girl Scout troop meeting to make some wishing dolls with the little girls. That was a raving success, and what we found is that most of the little girls wanted to adopt their own dolls. And so with the money raised from troop number 377, I made the first payment to Barbara's nursery. After that, anytime I got up to $20, I'd make a payment at the nursery, and so therefore, I had no need for a special account at the bank. I had my own special account. Before Christmas, we were able to fully pay for the first 3 animals that will go in the circle of the outdoor center. They are now on my side patio awaiting painting day. I'm aiming for 12 animal seats and 1 seat for the storyteller or teacher. The little benches can accommodate 2 primary school age children. Ultimately, these animals will be purchased in sets of 2 so they can be placed across the circle from their twin. And I would like to install a heavy-duty marine grade fabric slanted overhead to give the area a bit of shade, but keep it nice and bright. I saw those at the new Millennium Park in Lake Charles. Very nice. So that's where that inspiration came from. Who participates? Do East Elementary students only participate when it's their school to benefit from this? No, absolutely not. Every year, every school should participate in helping create and adopting the dolls. Each person in the community who is able to help out by donating materials used for making the dolls or giving of their time to assist in the creation process. And of course, there's the part where the dolls get adopted. The average donation is $3 to $5 per doll, but many people have been kind in giving more than that. Recently, 5 dolls were adopted, and a lady donated $40 for those 5 dolls. It's really up to the person. The dolls take time, and they are a labor of love. The little heads have to be shaped. After the little heads have been shaped in the clay, they must dry. That can take a few days. Once dry, I glue the heads onto the sticks and let that dry before they get painted. Once they're painted, they get arms and a dress and a hairdo. We like to have the artist sign the popsicle stick, and when desired, add their age, so you can see that this doll was created by Adria, age 6, or Isaac, age 8, so on and so forth. It's a team effort, and we as a community are a team. After they completed the dolls that I had gotten started prior to the meeting, they then started on new dolls with wet clay, putting their name on the popsicle stick and forming the heads, eyes, nose, and such. As I said before, we had fun and it was a great success. Many of the dolls I have made on my own, but I'd sure like to change that by having more groups like classroom size get involved. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank y'all for having us here today. For those of you who do not know me, I was born and raised in Eunice and spent a small amount of time outside of Eunice to get my degree in art education and help my husband establish his career. And have been back in Eunice for 13, 14 years now. Had a brief stint at Eunice High School teaching art, and When I decided to stay home to have my babies, I since then have been doing art lessons privately for kids during the summer and some adults to enable myself to work at home. So about a year ago, Jerika came to me with this wonderful children's book, and she handed me the text like she was handing me her baby. So I took it and read over it a few times, and I realized that this story that she had written was just as good as, if not better than, many of the stories that I've been reading to my kids. So after giving it some thought, I realized, you know, this is a great opportunity that's just been put in my lap. I'm going for it. So the name of the book is Piggles Saves the Day. And it's a great little story filled with colorful characters, and one of which is a two-headed giraffe, and the other is a pig, a flying pig. What I'll do is I'll read for y'all a little excerpt. So channel your inner child right now, and I'll read you the story, or sort of it, part of it. So Piggles saves the day. Have you ever heard the saying, "Two heads are better than one"? I'm Tallulah, the tall one. I'm Franny, the tallest one. I'm not so good at secret keeping, but I never tell a lie. There is something you all should know, and that is this. Piggles can fly. We hope to have a physical book in our hands by the end of the summer, in time for the Louisiana Book Fair, which takes place in Baton Rouge in November. So by November, we will have a physical book in our hands, complete, published, and ready to sell, ready to market. That's it.
That's super.
Okay, also, we have in February 8th, for anybody who might be interested in writing, if you want to try your knack at writing, there's the Southwest Louisiana Children's Book Writers and Illustrators Guild, and that is taking place February 8th of this month in Lake Charles. The Book Writers Guild is out there to support people who also write children's books, poetry, and those of us who are interested in the illustrating aspect of it. So if you know of anyone who is involved in such thing or would like to be involved and needs that sort of support, this is it. It's a great outlet.
Should write.
Anything else?
There might be questions. Why don't you open up a question?
Yeah. Would anybody have some questions, or we'll do our best to answer?
I have one, Vivian. Who is the publisher?
The publisher is going to be Jerika. She has elected to self-publish this book, and as she has said, and which I love, that she has confidence in me, she did not want to turn her story over to someone else, to a publisher, and to have anyone's artwork in it. So I'm very honored that she's given me this challenge, and I hope I do it justice. It's a fabulous little story.
It's going to be through Amazon or through...
Yes,
We had
right.
another teacher from St. Ed's, actually,
Katie
Katie
Cormier.
and she had spoke about her book, and I think she had published it through Amazon.
Yes,
It's a good book.
and before school's out for the summer, we will have an audio book available on iTunes. So just in time for kids who are ready to take road trips, you can plug them in and let them hear the story. It will be read by us, and then just in time for Christmas and the start of the next school year, we'll have our physical book in our hands.